Hey y'all, how you doing here? My name's Ian McCubbin, and today I wanted to talk about an interesting topic when it comes to the kind of things we're watching in shows or movies, and like what standard we as Christians should have when we are watching those movies and shows. Uh, this topic came into my head because I was watching this video right here by Taylor Elijah, and it's titled 10 Movies Christians Should Never Watch. And in the movie, she talks about all these different movies that she says can like pull us away from Christ. They're just not like a good influence or thing that we should be watching. And before I say anything further, I really agree with a lot of the stuff she says and like a lot of the examples she gives. She's given movies about like deep witchcraft, horror movies, that like the kind of stuff that can be like really gruesome and crazy. And I think she has a lot of good points on that about how those things affect us, like affect the way we think, but it also can affect kids like when they're younger, and it teaches them certain things. So no disagreement there. I really agree with a lot of the video, but she said one thing that I did disagree with, and it's kind of what made me want to make this video, which right around here, or a little bit before this, she mentions that Harry Potter is a movie that people really shouldn't be watching because it features wizards and witches, and that's something that the Bible speaks against. As you hopefully know as a Christian, that we shouldn't be doing those things. No witchcraft, no like spells and sorcery or anything like that. That kind of thing is demonic in real life. But it got me thinking though, because as someone that has read the books of Harry Potter and I've watched all the movies, and if you're, whether you're a Christian or non-Christian viewer, like there's nothing about Harry Potter that is inherently wrong. And so someone saying something like this show is bad, it's got witchcraft, magic, and it's demonic. It can feel very like an overloaded statement. Like you're reading into it too much. And that's not to say that we shouldn't try and read into things a little bit and like see what the meaning behind it is. Because there, like for example, there's some movies in this list like about genuinely about witches and like demonic rituals and stuff, and like I completely understand that as wrong. But when we look at a movie like Harry Potter, it's not talking about magic and wizardry to the extent of like you should make this your lifestyle. Like I was a normal human being, but then I found magic, and magic made me better than anybody else, or it gave me like it gave me all this purpose. And I know that is a little bit the way it is for Harry. As you know, Harry's like an orphan and he's treated very poorly, but then when he finds out there's magic, then his whole life gets like flipped upside down. It's like I can see why people that can relate to Harry would see that and think like, "Oh, well, I've heard of that kind of thing in real life and I see what it did for Harry. So maybe it can do that same thing for me. And so I'm going to go pursue that. I'm going to go learn more about that and maybe even believe that's true." I can see why that might be the case. But I think for most people, that's not what happens. And to say that something is a movie that should never be watched because some people interpret it like that, I think it's a bad idea. like for example, I want to like let's take this away from movies and let's like focus on something else. Let's think of like apples. Okay, I like apples. I eat apples. They taste good. Other people also eat apples and they taste good. But there's some people that believe there's an apple god and they worship apples and they have lots of apple themed things in their home and they really idolize apples. They think there's deeper meaning into like where the seeds are like located in the apple and that can like predict the future or something like that. And okay, let's say there's someone that believes that. Does that mean me as an individual, does that mean that I shouldn't eat apples or like apples because somebody else decided to draw all of that inherently wrong stuff out of an apple and like give all that meaning to it? You know, like, does that make sense? Is that something I should be doing? And the answer is no. That's illogical. An apple is an apple. It's sweet, it's red. In my opinion, it looks nice. An apple is none of those things that that person was attributing to the apple. It was everything in between. You know, like it was everything they gave and made about the apple that made it wrong, you know, to like act that way or made the apple wrong, quote unquote, you know, like it wasn't because of the apple. It was because the person appreciating the apple was going at it from the wrong mindset. And so I think that's really the case too for like movies, you know, one person can watch a movie and draw next to no meaning out of it and just enjoy it for what it is and walk away and like remember like, hey, that was a pretty good movie. And then there's other people that are in a different place and they could watch a movie and say, whoa, like I so relate to this character. I wish this and this were true. Maybe I'm going to even like act in some of the ways that these characters do because like I idolize them. That's unhealthy. And that's not the movie's fault that you chose to do that. In fact, that probably wasn't even the creator's intention. Maybe it was for some of them. Who knows? There's a lot of different movies. But I think most of the time, that's not what the creator was trying to do. And so let's go over to Harry Potter here. Harry Potter doesn't use magic as an identity thing. You know, it Harry's a wizard, but like the message of the movie is you aren't special if you don't have magic. People that can wield magic are gods. In fact, that's actually the antagonist of the movie. That's what he's saying is like you know, we are above the muggles and we like they should be almost like slaves to us. That's what a lot of the antagonistic characters believe. So that's not what the message is, and I think magic is more so used as a means of portraying a message. You know, it's not about the magic. The magic is just a means to like tell a story. The story is the main focus. It's not focused on just magic. It's how does the magic affect the world? How do people use the magic to affect the world? What does he do? What does she do? You know, that's what it's about. And in this clip here, this guy is like talking about, oh yeah, my first introduction to witchcraft and wizardry that really made me pursue it was Harry Potter. It's like you were in a place where you thought, where like you were searching for something. I believe this guy was looking for something, and or he was in need. Maybe he was hurt, and he saw this, and he like latched onto it and added it to his identity or a person he was. I watched Harry Potter, and I never did any of that. Lots of people have watched Harry Potter, and they never did that. We don't have a whole generation of Like, we don't have giant witch cults, as far as I know, that are wielding or trying to wield Harry Potter magic. That's just not a thing. It depends on the person watching it. So I guess what I want the takeaway from this to be is, don't, when we're thinking about like the things we do and don't watch, we should try and like think to ourselves, is this wrong to watch because the message is bad, or is it, or like let's say for our kid, like, is it wrong for my kid to watch this because the message is bad, or is it wrong for them to watch it because my kid's not going to understand what is really trying to be communicated? Me personally, I'm not going to let the foundation of my kid's life be on Harry Potter. You know, I feel like that's a movie they should watch when they're like 12 and they're like kind of grounded in reality a little bit. Heck, they could even watch it when they're younger and they're still going to be grounded in a level of reality about like Jesus and who he is because of me. I know some other kids aren't like that, but you know, I think a lot of Christian parents can like have that healthy way of watching movies. It's like, if you recognize it's fake, it's a great movie, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But you if you are looking for some way to like make that your reality, then I think you're going down the wrong path. So that was all. Just a thought. Maybe I yammered on too long. I don't know. Some people might be interested in that talk. Some might not care. If you're interested in talking about it more, please leave a comment below. I'd be interested to hear what you have to think. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.